In the world of automotive, there are some letters that are more special than others. Take, for example, the letter M, S, RS, or AMG. Well, in the Civic world, they also have a special letter, and that letter is the letter R, or in this case, the Type R, the Honda Civic Type R. Unfortunately, in North America, we have not seen this vehicle since they were introduced 20 years ago, until now. This is the latest Honda Civic Type R, and there's no better way to test it than on the track. Before we start, let's have a look at this car first. Now, to be honest, I think the styling is, how do you say it? It's kind of busy. It's like taking your Civic into an aftermarket shop and getting them to throw one of everything at it. There are more vents, diffusers, and scoops that you can imagine, and after you look at it for a while, you seem to find more. The front angle probably has the best in normal view in my opinion. The car is wider than the standard Civic and it shows. It has a low, wide, masculine look. From the side, the look is definitely tuner. Standard are 20-inch alloy wheels wrapped with sticky rubber. Inside that are huge Brembo 4-piston brakes. In the rear, some of the more transformer-like styling. A huge shaped wing, more vents, and a signature 3-pipe exhaust. Honda does say that all the slots, vents, scoops, and wings all play a part and are fully functional, which I guess it's kinda okay then. Believe me, when you see one of these on the street, there is no mistaking that this Civic is a different animal. The theme of the Type R is kind of red. You have a special red interior reserved for the Type R. The sport seats are very supportive and heavily bolstered and easily meet the needs of day-to-day driving because they're super comfy. And they even have holes in them if you want to attach a 5-point harness. The Type R is at the top end of the Civic, so it essentially gets the same treatment as the Civic Touring gets. You get the large display with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and navigation. You also get a backup camera, and exclusive to the Canadian models, you also get the lane watch system. Push the button and it comes alive. At lower loads, the exhaust is directed out of all 3 pipes, with that middle pipe acting like a resonator, making the exhaust note a little more throaty. At higher speeds though, the exhaust exits only out of the 2 outside pipes and kind of bypasses that middle one, making for a quieter exhaust note, which is probably better for a more civilized day-to-day experience. Some say it should be louder, and I kind of agree. Don't worry, I'm sure the aftermarket is on this right now. All right, here we go. In the Civic Type R at Circuit Mont Tremblant. Under the hood, a 2-liter direct injected, 4-cylinder, turbocharged VTEC engine, and it puts out 306 horsepower and almost equal torque at 295 pound-feet. Those wanting to drive something with only 2 pedals need to keep on walking, because the Type R only comes with a 6-speed manual. Throws are short and shifts are precise. One thing this car has that is new is that it has automatic rev matching. But if you don't like that, you can turn it off. But when I'm talking, concentrating right now, it's good to have it. I can really learn the track easier that way. The chassis is a lot stiffer than the standard Civic. The springs are 200% stiffer in the front and 160% in the rear, while the roll bars are 170 and 240% stiffer. You match that with the already super stiff and rigid platform of the 10th generation Civic, you get an extremely capable track monster, yet quite a compliant ride. I like to drive it longer and have a street drive to see how it would handle in everyday driving. So how do you get over 300 horsepower down to the ground on a front-wheel drive car and do it effectively? Well, it doesn't hurt to have big, fat tires, very sticky tires, but what the new Civic Type R has is a dual axis front suspension setup. And what that means is that there are two struts, one for the suspension and one for the steering. And what does that do? It pretty well eliminates torque steer, which you would have a lot of with this much power. My God, this thing is so fun once you start getting used to the track and get the rhythm going here. Is this third? Yeah.
Third, yep. Yep, keep going. Yep, you're good all the way up to that thing.
I have to admit, I'm no professional race car driver, and with the excitement of driving this Type R mixed with trying to learn a new track in a short amount of time, there were a few missed apexes. A little bit late there.
Have you felt it, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay.
A couple of late shifts, and some ill-timed braking points. Some of these disrupting the balanced nature of this car and even getting the back end pretty light. The car was thankfully easy to settle, and you could really feel the car through the seat of your pants. Turn-ins were positive and precise, the shifts were crisp, and at times when I should have been in a lower gear, the torque was more than enough to pull me through to the next one without having to gear down. The almost 14-inch rotors with 4-piston Brembo brakes up front made late high-speed braking a non-event. It felt like this Type R was really made for this track, but somehow I feel that I'd be saying the same thing whichever track I was on. This car is so easy not just to drive, but to drive fast. As the laps wound down and I became more familiar with both the car and the track, the Type R really rewarded me with faster entries and exits, and of course the lap times came down. A lot of you are probably wondering, how does this compare to its competitors, which are all-wheel drive? And why do you need all-wheel drive? Well, technically you really don't. It's a lot of extra weight, and this thing is fast. You wanna know how fast it is? This is the fastest car around the Nürburgring for a two-wheel drive car. But not just for two-wheel drive cars, it beats a lot of other rear-wheel and all-wheel drive cars like the STi, or even something like the Audi R8 V10. Now that's fast. Oh, how I would love another dozen laps with this car. I had a feeling that this car was going to be good, but not this good. And if you don't think front-wheel drive vehicles are capable, you gotta try this out first. This Type R now completes the full line of Civics available. You have so many different variations and different power plants. There really is a Civic for everyone. But if you want the most extreme, the most aggressive, most excessive Civic ever, there it is. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.